Hello friend, my name is Josh West with Cellar Door Sound. Today we are mixing an entire track from scratch. You can see in this session here, I have nothing. I'm going to do everything. I'm going to import all tracks. We're going to organize them and then we're going to mix them up just so I can show you the entire process kind of moving forward. Once we begin here, this is going to be a completely unedited mix, so there's going to be no tricks. It's just going to be start to finish. This is kind of a style of mixing that I like to do inside of GarageBand. I really think it'll help you see the entire process and how to slowly kind of morph the mix to get it sounding how you want it. Before we get into this mix, I want to first tell you about the sponsor of today's video, which is QuizTones. QuizTones is my favorite app for learning frequencies. Years ago, I really was trying to figure out how to EQ instruments and EQ vocals, and I finally figured out through this app that the key to that is understanding where these frequencies are rather than guessing all the time. This app is super simple to use, and it basically quizzes you on the different frequencies so your brain kind of starts to map them out, and it makes EQing so much easier. You can grab that by clicking the link in the description. Last thing, so this video comes out today, June 7th. I have a community I built that is a completely free community just for this weekend that we are starting to build and have big mix sessions like this, have live sessions where you can ask questions and I answer it live. We bring in your mix, we work on stuff together, and it's a really cool community of people that all want to get better at recording and mixing and mastering. So if you want to check it out, just click the link in the description, and I highly recommend that you go check it out now because it's only free for this weekend only. If you're watching past this weekend, so sorry you missed out, but check it out anyway. It's in the description. Okay, so let's get into this mix. All right, so we have a completely blank session here. I'm gonna go over to my Finder. This is where I have the tracks. I just downloaded these off of a website that I'll also link in the description. It has tons of really cool examples of recordings, and it's a good way to bring stuff into practice on other material that's not just yours. You can kind of get stuck working with just your own music, so I think it's a really good help in learning mixing to mix other people's songs as well. So we are going to grab all these tracks and we're going to import them straight into this session. Let it convert here. Slowly, dun, 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 dun. All right, then we're going to delete this automatic track that popped up. Okay, so we have the entire session, which looks pretty good here. So I'm going to kind of organize this. So we're going to rename these bass upright 1. I'm going to call this bass. I'm just going to call this bass 2. So we're going to put these up on top. Oops. Turn that off. Acoustic. Oh my gosh, I can't type today. So we got rooms, we got Mando, percussion left, percussion right, vocals, violin. So let's bring these up here. Percussion left. I love that. Percussion right. I'm going to put rooms at the end. Oh, here's a shaker. Put that up here. And then we have rooms, stereo, room, okay. Box group. Perfect. Awesome. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn down all the volumes. I come from the studio world, and I have a style of mixing that I really like to do, and I like to basically mix the song with just the faders first. So before I start EQing, before I start messing with the tracks too much, I want to get a really nice balanced mix going on. So before we do that, I'm just gonna color these tracks really quick so that we have a good idea of what's going on. I always do kind of similar colors for everything. Violin, rooms we can keep. Well, let's just keep going on this theme here. Make it nice and pretty or something. Okay, perfect. So now we kind of have these broken up. We got percussion, got our bass, acoustic instruments, a violin. I like that separate, and then the room mics here. Okay, so first thing is I want to hear how these rooms sound. So real quick, we're just going to bring these up.
This is Telefunken Soundstage. We are Mipso.
Let's... Okay, cool. So I'm going to get these to be in a good spot. Okay, real quick, I want to make sure that these are dry in line, which actually it looks like they are. Yeah, pretty close. Okay, now let's start bringing things in as we feel it. So one thing I'm doing is I'm listening to where the acoustic guitar is in this stereo mic. So this is a live recording, as you can tell. I really like mixing live recordings because it's very challenging because everything's kind of bleeding into each other and you got to make it all work together. So it's just kind of fun. All right, so I hear that the acoustic is in the left side of the stereo set. So I'm going to kind of pan it and try to get it sounding good along, kind of in the same place that it is in that stereo spot. Hear these. With your All right, cool. So this is sounding really good altogether. I like the sound of it. It's already sounding kind of full. Now we're gonna slowly kind of work backwards a little bit. So we're gonna first start with this vocal group here. I want to get this sounding really good on its own. So let's go to, let's see where this a good spot is.
Think it's a crime to be to keep unadorned, on the pillow.
So you can hear there's a lot of bleed in this, which is fine. It's not a huge deal. We're gonna mess with it here. So we're gonna add some plugins. The first thing we're gonna do is add a compressor. So I'm gonna have a link to a document with a bunch of free plugins in it, and this one will be included.
On the pillow you meant to keep unadorned, and you think it's a crime to be so loud. I think that you're stingy with your mouth. You're crying for somebody's wasted time. There are sadder stories I've heard. Get over the wallpaper, baby. This house is coming down.
We're going to do a little bit of, I have a lot of plugins as you can tell. We're going to do a little bit of some de-essing. This is another free plugin. I love this, love using this as a de-esser. The stock GarageBand de-esser to me makes the vocal just sound fake. I don't like how it works. It just makes it sound so weird. So I've been trying to find something that's a little better, and this thing is awesome. So this is just an EQ, but you can turn it into a multi-band EQ, which basically is compression. So I'll show you what it does. So you basically hit this threshold. We've got our frequency up at about 6K. This is also going to help us with that shaker. The shaker's kind of intense in here. So basically what we're going to do is, now that we have this threshold on, we're going to move the threshold down, and it'll start adjusting it by basically by that much in gain. So you'll see it move on its own.
On the pillow you meant to keep unadorned, and you think it's a crime to be so loud. I think that you're stingy with your mouth. You're crying for somebody's wasted time. There are sadder stories I've heard. Get over the wallpaper, baby. This house is coming down. On the pillow you meant to keep unadorned, and you think it's a crime to be so loud. I think that you're stingy with your mouth. You're crying for somebody's wasted time. There are sadder stories I've heard. Get over the...
Awesome. All right, so there's a lot of high end in this bass, so we're gonna get rid of a tiny bit of the bleed in the high end on this side. Sweet. And then we're going to add a compressor. We're gonna do that same compressor here.
I think that
gonna do the same thing here. So I'm just gonna add that same compressor, have these acting kind of similar.
With your mouth, you're crying for someone's wasted time. There are sadder stories I have heard. Get over the wallpaper, baby. This house is coming down.
All right, let's get this violin sounding good. We're just moving through the instruments. I'm basically just kind of, as I hear something, I'm like, okay, cool. So we got the vocal sounding pretty decent right now. We got the bass sounding pretty decent. Now we're gonna go to the violin, control that a little bit. Then we'll we're kind of working through the mix instrument by instrument, just trying to improve it subtly. We're not trying to do like massive changes to each individual instrument. Sometimes when you do that, it can kind of throw off the next thing you do, because if you make the bass so intense and massive and then you move to, let's just say, the percussion and make that massive, a lot of times it can kind of conflict. So we're just slowly kind of building up the mix as we move along. All right, cool. So this vocal group's obviously taken the majority of that violin, and it sounds good with the vocal processing that we did. So this is kind of just backing it up, but what we're really going to do with this is we're going to use it as our sort of effect. So we're going to make a cycle to this whole mix here, and we're actually going to export this. So export song to disk. We're going to call this VO verb. Just throw that in the downloads. Wave, uncompressed 24-bit, and we're actually going to hit cycle area. Now, I've had a lot of questions about why we do this, and I'm going to show you why, and I'm going to show you the other option and why it can kind of, I don't know, why I prefer this way. So let's bring this VO verb. So basically what I'm doing is I'm creating a second track. We will color the track a similar or the same color. All right, and then what we're doing is we're adding a reverb. So we're going to go to Space Designer, and we're going to get a decent sound here on its own. So let's go to like, so we want just kind of something natural. Wooden chamber. Let's see how this sounds. That's cool, but we want something a little bigger. That sounds kind of cool. All right, so we're going to take the dry output all the way off, and now we just have this reverb output, right? So if I solo my violin, my verb, and my vocal group and turn this down, what I'm going to do is slowly bring it up and find a good spot for that reverb. we're going to take a bit of that low end out just to make sure we're staying clean. And sometimes I take the high end, but I like the high end in this one. All right, let's hear it in the mix. All right, cool. So a lot of people have asked questions like, why don't you just duplicate this track? Why can't you just add a reverb here? And all those things are fine. So you can add a reverb straight on the track, but I prefer to have a separate track that just has that reverb on it. That way you can do some automation, which we'll get to. You can do all kinds of really fun things. If you duplicate the track, it comes with all the plugins. So if you're using presets or have something that's got like 7 or 8 plugins on it, you're creating a double of all that processing and then adding another reverb on top of it. To me, it's just simpler to basically, once you're starting to kind of get a sound, it doesn't even have to be a perfect sound. You just export just that track, and then all of a sudden you have a track that has less DSP usage, and you can add anything you want onto that track. And then also you can automate it, so you can have the reverb come up and down and do all kinds of stuff to add more interest into your mix kind of moving forward. All right, let's see where we're at. Okay, so now I want to get a reverb sound on the vocal. So we're going to share, export song to disk, and we're going to call this vocal verb. It's going to be a little tricky because we've got the violin on another track, we've got all the acoustics, all that stuff, and then pretty much all of that is coming through this vocal group right here. So there's going to be a lot of bleed, and we'll kind of play with it and just see where we're at. This track might end up being the reverb track for everything because pretty much everything's in there. Awesome, so we got that. Let's go to our downloads, bring in our vocal verb. We're going to solo this. We're going to do the same thing. Go to that space designer. And I might, just for fun, we might do that same studio room. Let's just see how it sounds. We'll go here. Oop. All right, let's hear just these together. We'll kind of get a mix. All right, so we're kind of hitting a little bit hot on our master fader right here. I'm going to go ahead and show this master track, which is right here. And let's go to where that kind of chorus is.
Think it's a crime to be so loud. I think that you're stingy with your mouth. You're crying for someone's wasted time. There are
it's really not that bad, but I'm gonna lower everything a dB. So we're at 1.7, we'll go to 2.7, 1.3, we'll go to 2.3. This may seem pointless, but I just want to lower the overall. I went a little bit too crazy with the just the volume. Got a little too excited. These don't have to be perfect if you're bringing everything down. I'm just kind of trying to get them close. Okay.
Get over the wallpaper, baby. Get over the wallpaper, baby. This house is coming down. Get over the wallpaper, baby.
All right, so we're not distorting. Let's go to the end of the song where it's really loud.
You'll never find the darkness you wear like a crown. Get over the
somewhere that percussion's really coming through. Okay, let's add a little compression to this guy. We're gonna do that same thing because it has a dual mono. So dual mono basically compresses the left and the right independently, right? And I can see that we're getting a lot of that tambourine in this room, which is causing us to distort, but nothing else really is. Or not distort, but get close. We want to leave some room at the top and not get so, I don't know, not get so hot that you're going to potentially add distortion later. All right, we're gonna do something a little more. Let's do this guy. This is a mastering compressor. This might help us get it a little better. Let's see. You can see with this off how hot that's hitting with it on. So just bringing it down a little bit. Let's see how much it helps here.
You'll never find the darkness you wear like a crown. Get over the
so we have another one here. We're going to do the same thing. So it's this guy. See how that helped? Just bringing some stuff down, getting those peaks. A lot of times those really intense peaks can mess up your whole mix. All right, let's bring the percussion back in.
You'll never find the darkness you wear.
Okay, now we're gonna go back to our normal kind of free compressor here. compressors. So
You'll never find in the darkness you wear like a crown. Get over the wallpaper, baby. This house is coming down. Wallpaper, baby, this house is coming down.
all right. This is getting there. This is getting there. Let's do some acoustic now. Okay, so I hear a lot of low end in this guitar, so I'm going to swap the channel EQ and the compressor. If I can control the low end before the compressor might act a little bit different. Right now it seems a little pumpy, so we're going to try that. So everything I'm using is free plugins, just so you know. All right, we're gonna add a little bit of a acoustic verb, maybe, because why not? And we're just gonna do it from here. So I'm gonna share, export song to disk, AC verb. This is fun. Hopefully you're liking this. We're at 36 minutes. Can't see it, but my dog is sleeping underneath you. She keeps stretching and kicking me. All right, let's go back to our downloads. We'll grab this guy, bring it up. This is going to be something kind of light. I just want to add a little bit of space to that left side, just a little bit. Just wanted to check it and make sure that I had the right spot. Space designer. I'm going to do a similar thing. So small space, rooms, and let's try that same kind of sound. right, we're getting there. I like it. I think it's sounding pretty cool. Mandolin. So if you can follow kind of what I'm doing, I'd like to start off with some compression. This is just general. I like to clean up everything, and then if I feel like it needs anything extra, then we'll add an EQ here. Add some high end.
On your head, you love mine, but it's a test every time that you find it on the pillow you meant to keep unadorned.
Sounds pretty cool. Let's just for fun, let's do a reverb here as well. So we're going to export this. We're going to call it Mando Verb. This might be our last reverb. I don't think we need any on drums and percussion and stuff because it's coming through that vocal verb right here. All right, let's grab our verb. Bring it up. Solo, make sure it's... Oh, I gotta put it in the right spot, of course. And then let's do that space designer again. We're just gonna do the same. I normally don't always do the same reverbs all the time, but I really like the way this sounds, and we're just doing a little bit of it in kind of different places to kind of keep it similar, I guess. Sounds like it's in a similar room.
You're stingy with your mouth, you're crying for someone's wasted time. There are sadder stories I have heard. Get over the wall.
Oh. Okay. I'm gonna might make a just percussion. Let's see. Yeah, let's do a percussion. Let's bounce this as well. So we're just gonna call this perk verb. I hope you're finding this beneficial. This is really fun just to kind of skip all the normal YouTube stuff and just create, just mix. I love mixing for fun, for practice. It's really, really fun. You know, we're not releasing this. This isn't even my music. Like, this is just for fun, for practice, honestly, to help you. So I hope it's doing that purpose. Truly, truly do. All right, let's try that space designer again. We're gonna do a different room this time for this. Let's do like a villa living room. It kind of sounds cool, but we want more of a, let's see, Prince Hall. There we go. Really need that low end out and a little bit of that high end.
And you think it's a crime to be so loud. I think that you're stingy with your mouth.
All right, real quick, we're gonna add a compressor. I really like this this guy. Again, another free one. This is a mastering compressor. It's really good to use on your output as long as you're not having way too much. If you're really up here in the red, that's probably not, this isn't going to work that well because you're going to be basically distorting before this plugin. So we want to make sure we have some room, and then we want to go to the loudest part of the song, which is this end with all this, the percussionist gets all crazy. And we are going to try and get a good sound using this threshold, trying to glue the whole mix together, basically, before we start doing automation.
You'll never find in the darkness you wear like a crown. Get over the wallpaper, baby. This house is coming down. You'll never find in the darkness you wear like a crown. Get over the wallpaper, baby. This house is coming down.
All right, cool. So this just gives you a really nice glue. It kind of brings everything together just a little bit. It takes off some of the crazy peaks and just controls everything. I typically try to be under -2 dB of gain reduction, and I don't really mess with any of their settings. Just keep it simple. Just get that nice slight gain reduction on the loudest part of your track. And then you can kind of go through the rest of the track and hear how it affected it. We should check that. Okay, so we're going to just keep the automation simple because this is a live track. It's live recorded. They did one take. I want to slightly exaggerate the beginning before this vocal comes in, which is, let's see. So the start of the song. I like that. I'm going to keep that the start. Okay, so I'm going to, actually we'll do this. Turn this off and start at 5 and go to kind of where this guy is. So I'm marking where I want my mix to basically stay the same. So we're going to bring up the bass seems like he's really dynamic already. So we're just going to bring up the acoustic a little bit. So we're going to make a couple dots here. We might do the same thing to the reverb, the mandolin, the mando verb, and the violin obviously just comes in during that section, so we don't really need to mess with that because where it's setting is pretty nice. So we're just going to raise this up about a dB, and you can see those two dots, what it does is it allows me to just grab this line right here and bring it up and down. And you can see the fader right here moving up and down, just like that. And it allows you to keep everything past that the same. If I'm moving this up and down, everything, the rest of the whole song, it stays exactly the same. So we're just going to raise this up like a dB and just kind of see if we can get this sounding just a little bit bigger in the intro. A little more impact is what we're looking for. So here, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna find out where this ends. And then right there. So we're gonna go from 31 to about there. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing. I really like what that did. So we're gonna create our dots here. And again, we're just saving everything past this. So I readjusted that first verse because I felt like I just felt like the mandolin and all that was a little bit too loud. So we're gonna do the same thing, just get our settings here. Okay. And then we're just gonna do that about a dB-ish. Nothing crazy. We're adding dynamics to the song, we're adding interest, we're kind of keeping things more creative. I think, just for fun, let's mark this next spot, because I think we're going to change this. So right there to... Okay, to there. So we're just going to make our dots. Okay. And go back to that beginning part right here. Make our dots. Awesome. Whoa. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to make this next verse more dramatic. I want to bring the instruments down even more just to add some intrigue. Okay, so now, by the way, real quick, I want to make this section right here back to a little bit more bigger, and then leading into that kind of, we'll just call it the chorus with that violin. But I want to make note of this real quick. If I am in a mix and I find myself, if I go back and I listen to something and I find myself not wanting to push stop, I feel like that's a hint that I'm on the right track. It's not a hint that the song's done or it's perfect or anything like that. But if I'm really enjoying the song and I'm forgetting about mixing and these little details, and I'm like, oh wow, I like this, and just subconsciously just find myself listening and grooving, I know I'm on the right track. So if you can start to reference that and notice that, it helps a lot, because sometimes you can just be lost forever. But listening to those little subtle hints that your body kind of gives you helps. Okay, so I want these notes to be just a little bit bigger.
Style. Get over the wall.
Right here. So I want right here. We're just using these instruments to gain a little bit of dynamics. So we're going to raise this like a dB. Same thing, a dB, and a dB. Let's see.
Style. Get over the wallpaper, baby. This house is coming down. Style.
That's cool. And then it comes in big there again. It's great.
On the pillow you're meant to keep unadorned. And I know that you see every crack.
All right, so now we have this section here we're going to play with.
On the pillow, you know that every hair on your head, and you love mine, but it's a test every time that you find them. On the pillow, you're meant to. You know that every hair on your head, and you love mine, but it's a test every time that you find them. On the pillow, you're meant to keep unadorned. And I know that you see every crack in the floor. Oh, but
I might just lower this guy a little bit. I like what it's doing, but I think it's a little bit too loud here. So I'm fine when it comes in after that, but we're going to turn it down a couple dB.
you're meant to keep unadorned. You see every crack in the floor. Oh, but honey, you know it still does what it's for. And we are for something you'll never find. In the darkness you wear like a crown. Get over the wallpaper, baby. This house is coming down.
All right, that's great. So I want this ending. Oops, keep. Okay, I need to turn that off. So right here, dun, 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 we're gonna make this dramatic. And for fun, we're just gonna raise the bass here too. Why not? The bass stays pretty consistent. I like where it's sitting, just kind of like the percussion. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. So we're gonna raise this up a dB. Gonna raise this up a dB ish. We're just kind of guessing here. We're just seeing. And then I kind of want to raise this violin because it's the end. So we'll raise this up a dB, raise this up a dB. Okay.
Is coming down.
All right. I love it. Oh, we got motorcycles going by. All right, cool. So now we're just going to just do a listen through of the whole thing and see if we need to make any of the adjustments and see where we're at. On the pillow you're meant to keep unadorned. And I know that you see every crack in the floor. Oh, but honey, you know it still does what it's for. And we are for something you'll never find in the darkness you wear like a crown. Get over the wallpaper, baby. This house is coming down. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. There's always little minor things that I could probably change to make it a little bit better. But overall, I think the automation's doing the job it's supposed to be doing. It's coming up, coming down. I think if I were getting really nitpicky, I'd probably bring down more of the instruments in this the first verse, rather. But other than that, everything sounds good. I think after this little chorus violin section, it's kind of perfect. The automation comes down, it goes up, it has this really nice flow, but you also feel like it's live still. It's not so obvious that it's taking away that kind of like everybody in a room together type of a sound. That's it. I really hope you enjoyed this. I hope this kind of full mix was something that's really going to help you take some of these ideas and apply them to your own music. I know this is a professionally recorded song and all those different things, but sometimes it helps to just see a workflow and just see a process of mixing to get from kind of A to B. But yeah, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and definitely check out my community where we do more of this every week. Every week we're adding sessions, we're adding music. It's really, really fun. So click the link in the description to go check it out. Thanks, guys. Peace.